Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and we are live. And coming up, I got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking about Zamir White. We're going to be talking about some interesting rumors around Emmanuel Ogbah and Harrison Bryant. I saw some interesting articles out there by ESPN, by Bleacher Report. I decided to take a little bit of a deep dive on it. Raiders OTA news, they were supposed to practice today, or that they could have started today. I'll kind of talk about what to expect for tomorrow, and then a lot more updates around some players in the NFL that I just think that the nation needs to know. Obviously, I'm rocking Jeremy Chuggs' Jim Otto jersey. If you don't know, R.I.P. to one of the greatest Raiders of all time, one of the greatest human beings of all time. I've never actually had the opportunity to shake 00's hands, but just talking to people that knew Jim, and like a lot of Raider fans that had the opportunity to meet Otto. If anybody that watches today's show, if you have a really cool memory, I was watching, listen to the Graphic Raider talk about him. Really down-to-earth dude. Started playing with the Raiders in 1960. I believe he played until 74. One of the greatest centers of all time. So I saw somebody earlier in the chat say, let's do a boot for Otto. I'm not going to do a boot for Otto, but I do want you guys to pay your respects for one of the greatest Raiders of all time. If we're the fan base that we're going to say, you don't got to be blood to be family, Raider Nation till I die, I'm going to be rocking the silver and black, and Jim Otto is a big part of the reason why. Probably a lot of y'all are fans of this football team. So before we get into today's show, I want y'all to spam those 00s for Jim Otto. I do want to take a moment of silence for this guy. To me, when I think about some of the greatest Raiders of all time, when I ask the questions, and I've asked this question 100 times, a million times, who's the greatest Raider of all time? Who's your favorite Raider of all time? Jim Otto is a common name. The reason why that we have a Jim Otto jersey is because one of our greats here, Raider Ron, said, you know what? I don't want Jeremy to have a Raider Ron jersey. I want Jeremy to have a Jim Otto jersey. So I'm going to take a quick moment of silence here. I want you all to spam those 00s, and then I got a jam-packed show for the nation out there. You ready? Let's do it. Coming up here on today's show, we're going to be talking about Emmanuel Ogbah and whether or not the Raiders should sign him. ESPN recently linked the defensive end to the silver and black, and this has been a player that we have talked about multiple times here on this show. So let me know down below, should they sign him or should they pass? Type S for sign, type P for pass, and shout out to Cloud, Anik, Carmelo, Lord Only, Dan's, A Production, Sienna, all spamming those 00s down below. I know you were like, should I wear the jersey? And I was like, if you don't mind, I'll wear it. But then nobody would have been able to see what you got on right now, which that might be even more important.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Dude, I like this outfit you got going.
Summertime, I thought, do we go maybe summer season happy hour Hawaiian shirt Fridays?
It's Monday. I'm down with it. Every day, if you want to wear a Hawaiian shirt, I'm okay with it. It brightens up my day.
Dude,
you can't be mad walking into work with a Hawaiian shirt. You know what I mean?
One, I need to do some more laundry. But two, I was like, F it. I'm gonna just wear it. I'm gonna wear the shirt. See what happens. It's very comfy. I get why larger individuals wear Hawaiian shirts. They're just very comfy shirts.
They're great shirts. Well, one of my best men at my wedding, I'm not gonna lie to you, he wears a Hawaiian shirt every week, at least one day a week, and he's done that for 31 years of his life.
Cloud, straight up. Today I felt like it was a little bit of paradise, A
little bit of a paradise day. It's Monday, and I know somebody earlier was like, man, I hate Mondays. It's not that I don't like Mondays. Actually, my least favorite day of my work week is usually Wednesday because it's the only day that I don't go live, and I sit around here, and I'm like, the day just goes slower unless I'm live here on the Raiders Report. But that's just the truth. S for sign, P for pass. Remember, we're also going to be live tomorrow, and it's going to be a Madden Week 3 game up against the Carolina Panthers. So no Madden game today. And there will be a game tomorrow. I
was on a couple calls with Mount Raidermore this weekend and others. Sarah
My phone
Otto,
was ringing off the hook this week.
Navman. But I told them, and I'll tell y'all too, Game 3 against the Panthers might be more crazy than Game 1 or Game 2 against the Ravens.
How is that possible? Overtime thriller, ball gets punched out at the 1.
All I'm saying is,
if it's more, I'm not going to be able to take it. I am freaking out, man.
Rebel GZ Chugs. I saw the tweet.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what GZ means.
I have absolutely no idea what that means. I am seeing a lot of signs, though. James Williams, Cloud, what up, Sienna, King Shab, all spamming those S's for sign. And I kind of agree here with Mario, as you can never have enough pass rushers. Now, obviously, it's going to be the money. Does it make sense for the silver and black? We'll get into all of this coming up here on today's show.
Money.
I know this is the Raiders Report, but also I'm a big-time sports fan. Who's going to win it all? We got 4 teams left here in the NBA Finals. You got the Mavericks, Pacers, Celtics, Timberwolves. Who are you rolling with? If you're going to go with the Dallas Mavs, type DAL. If you're going to go with the Pacers, IND. Celtics, BOS. Or if you're going to go with the Timberwolves, MIN. Jeremy Chugs, where are you going? How about this? Because I feel like I know who you want to win it all. But then again, who do you think is going to win it all?
Want and think are both in the Western Conference. I think it's either Dallas or Minnesota. I see one of those teams winning.
All right.
Pacers, the biggest long shots of them all.
I agree.
I don't think there's any way the Pacers win. Boston.
If the Pacers win it all, you have to wear a Hawaiian shirt every day in the month of June.
I will. I'll do it.
All right. Down.
I'll do it.
Down.
Boston, I think, has a chance, but I just think the Mavs or Timberwolves getting out of the West. I mean, maybe the Celtics will have like fresher legs. You know, they've played less games, have had to play lesser competition, in my opinion. I just think Mavs or T-Wolves, both those teams are just getting hot at the right time, and they're both battle tested.
I feel like whoever won that Nuggets-Wolves series is going to end up winning the NBA Finals. Because if Anthony Edwards plays the way that he did last night, and he plays that way, they're going to win it all. But then again, the Mavs have the 2 best players left in the NBA Finals.
I mean, and there does have to be something said about, a team that has kind of cruised a little bit in the Celtics, which not in their own fault. I mean, you can't blame a team for winning and winning and winning.
Sure.
But I mean, the Mavs and T-Wolves have both been in high leverage situations like win-or-go-home games with, against the Thunder with the number 1 seed with the Mavs, and then the T-Wolves knocking off the champions in the Nuggets. Both these teams, I think, are more battle-tested.
Yeah, I almost wondered, too, if with a team like the Celtics, if it's so easy, which it's not easy, but it is definitely more of a cupcake walk than anything out of the West. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I don't know who would. Nobody with any sense would ever say the Eastern Conference is better than the Western Conference.
Some might not. Though I am seeing a lot of people rolling with the Boston Celtics. If you guys don't know, we have a Celtics channel here at Chat Sports. They're going to be doing watch parties for all the playoff games. We also have a Mavericks channel, which is going to be doing watch parties for all the playoff games. Hell, there's even some speculation, some rumors going on that our Vikings channel might do some for the Timberwolves.
Really?
I don't know. I heard him say something today about it. That'd be pretty electric. Which that means only left is the Pacers. And unfortunately, nobody's doing watch parties.
Maybe our Colts channel can do that.
Probably, yep. What up, Borelli? Hope my guy Marsh is good going with the Wolves. I mean, he's probably like every Knicks fan out there. I mean, you got to be proud of this team.
Marsh,
they battled through it.
Marsh, are you good?
I don't think Knicks fans can be upset because
Marshall's good.
At the end of the day, even if they win, if you don't have Jalen Brunson, it would have been a blowout anyway. Borelli, appreciate you asking, man. Shout out to Mount Raider Moore for pulling up.
I just checked on Marshall just a second ago. Up to date, he said he's doing good. So
there you go.
All signs pointing up for Marshall Green. Things only go up from here. Things are only going up from here.
I mean, imagine if the Raiders, right? You're trying to make a playoff push. Imagine if the Raiders were to lose Maxx Crosby, Robert Spillane, Nate Hobbs, Trevon Merrick, Marcus Epps, and you just get to a point where you're like, man, we're just running out of so many bodies, so many injuries starting to pile up, and I think for a lot of Knicks fans out there, that's what that kind of was like. Another topic that we're going to be talking about here on today's show is going to be around Harrison Bryant. The Raiders signed him this offseason to a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. I saw an article from Bleacher Report saying that they could see the Silver and Black deciding to move on from Bryant. So coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you why the Raiders, if they did, why they would move on from Bryant, and then why they will not move on from Harrison Bryant. So that's going to be coming up here on today's show. But remember, the Raiders, they drafted Brock Bowers at number 13 overall. You have Michael Mayer on your team already, who arguably were the two best tight ends coming out of college football the past 2 seasons. And now you have Harrison Bryant, who I actually did not know this, also was what's the tight end award in college football? John Mackey or something like that. He won the award in 2019, which I did not know. Kind of interesting. Give me a yes. Give me a no. What do you guys think here? Will he make the roster? Cloud is going to go with a no. JMO H, a.k.a. Devil J, says no.
He said hell no.
Hell no. D'Angelo Fortenberry, no. Cloud, no. I mean, right now, Rebel says no. I am seeing a lot, and I mean a lot of no's starting to full in here. Javette's going to go with a yes. Tree says no.
Hell no.
Navman, yes.
To the no.
Yoda, no. Ryan, no. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you whether or not he makes the roster. Let's go to Rebel, who I think he's got an updated picture here.
Rebel Montana.
As a Lakers fan, let's go Wolves. Marsh in, Alley out? What does that mean? Like, if anything, it's the opposite, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I say Allie's, her team's still in. She's covering Celtics. Marsh is the team that's out. But I want the Timberwolves to win. I really, really do. But then being down here in Dallas, like, I'm not going to lie, when the Mavs win, the city of Dallas is electric. And Alex is the only games that Alex likes to watch are the Mavs games. So I kind of feel like if the Mavs are in it, it gives me an excuse to watch the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Every single game gives me an excuse. Let's go to Evil Mitch. Would you rather sign Dak or draft Sanders? This is a hell of a question. I kind of wish we were doing a mailbag today. Hell, I'd almost lead the show off with this one. Let me ask you guys this real quick. Would you rather sign Dak Prescott or draft Shedeur Sanders? I think the real part of this...
What about you, Mitch?
To be honest with you, I'd probably rather draft Shedeur. Because to me, both are a risk, right? Both are a risk. One just comes with a $60 million price tag. Where if Shedeur is a bust...
One's just a proven top 10 quarterback.
Correct, but Dak's also going to be $60 million. But then also this, what do you think would be better for the channel, Shedeur or Dak? I think it's probably Shedeur.
The Raiders do win more whenever our channel does better.
There you go.
So
that's what I've seen. But, like, I think that's also part of this question where I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't really know if either are going to result in wins. I mean, we've said that before. Well, regular season wins, yes, for Dak.
Okay, yeah.
Playoff wins, I don't think so. I think if Dak Prescott is the Raiders quarterback this year, they are no doubt a playoff team. It's just, do you win a playoff game? I don't know.
You got to get there to find out.
I will say this, though. Signing Dak Prescott next offseason is
best case scenario.
Way more likely than the Raiders drafting Shedeur, because I'm a believer that you're going to have to be a top 10 pick to get Shedeur Sanders. And I just don't see the Raiders having that top 10 pick. And on top of that, like, Dak, to me, I do think this is his final year in Dallas. And then when you look at the Raiders roster from top to bottom, they are building a team that if you believe that you're a Super Bowl caliber team, but you're a quarterback away, then Dak Prescott is an interesting option. Like, he is. I mean, he gives you a better chance to win than Aiden, gives you a better chance to win than Gardner Minshew. And I think in the NFL, all you can ask your team to do is upgrade at every single position possible every offseason. And if they have the opportunity to get Dak, I think that, you'd have to at least look into it. Coming up here live on today's show, let's get into the OTA news. Let's also talk about Zamir White. A lot of good hype around him. And then we're going to get into 2 other segments, whether or not the Raiders should sign Emmanuel Ogbah and whether or not the Raiders are going to be cutting Harrison Bryant. That's all coming up here on today's live show. If you haven't already, make sure you guys click that like button. It does help us out a lot. I see Queen Sarah Otto here in the chat. And also a friendly reminder, we are going to be doing a 50-50 raffle today.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to do, 20 or 10?
I say we go 10.
You want to go 10? All right, let's do it. $10 Venmo at Mitchell Renz 365 if you want a chance to win a little bit of money. So I'm looking right now if anybody is in yet. I don't see anybody is in as it stands right now. So again, if you want a chance to get in, it is at Mitchell Renz 365. Just so you know. We'll do that at the very end of today's show, just in case you're wondering. And then tomorrow, Venthrak, I'm going to be rocking your jersey, Raiders, Panthers, Madden, Week 3 Sims, going to be electric. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, it's going to be the final live show that I do for a week. So my dad, he's going to be in town. I have to pick him up from the airport on Thursday. And because of that, I'm coming in really early. And Chugs and I are going to film some earlier shows on Thursday. So I won't be here for normal Thursday Live. Then Friday I have off because my dad's in town. Monday is a holiday, but my dad's still in town. So the next time I'm going to be live on this show will be Tuesday. Or tomorrow Tuesday and then the following Tuesday. So not a lot of live shows here on the Raiders Report. All right, Chugs, you ready?
I'm ready.
Chugs is giving me the thumbs up. At least I hope that's a thumb. Coming up here on today's show, let's get into the latest going on around the Silver and Black OTAs. And let's talk a little bit about Zamir White, because that dude is a monster. R.I.P. to the great Jim Otto. If you haven't already, make sure you guys spam those 00s. I can remember a lot of these awesome Raider fans that watch this show always hyping up 00. Was a Raider from 1960 until 1974. One of the greatest Raiders of all time. I'm rocking the Jim Otto jersey right now because Raider Ron, Mount Raider Moore, the guy we always talk about. Hell, I got his name tatted on my leg, for the love of God. Wanted Jeremy Chugs and I to get a Jim Otto jersey instead of a Raider Ron jersey. And I think it just kind of exemplifies how important this guy is to the Raiders. And there's probably a lot of people out there watching the show right now that are Raider fans because of Jim Otto. So if you haven't already, spam 00 for Jim. If you know anybody in that family, reach out to them. If you know any Raider fans that are impacted by this, because I was actually talking to a lot of Raider fans over the weekend, very impacted by the loss of the great Jim Otto. R.I.P., died at the age of 86, will always be in our hearts here amongst the nation. Jim, you'll be greatly missed. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, let's talk about the OTA news to know because, well, the Raiders, I thought were going to be practicing today. Unfortunately, they are not practicing. We'll kind of get into the latest going on around that. If you haven't seen Zamir White, dude is an absolute monster, continuing to bulk up. And am I a little bit too low on Zeus? And then Rashee Rice, the news that you need to know around the Kansas City Chiefs star wide receiver. So earlier last week, I talked about Raiders OTA saying that it's going to start May 20th. Today's May 20th. The Raiders did not practice today. So essentially all NFL teams, you're allowed to conduct 10 days of OTAs. No live contact is permitted, but 7-on-7, 9-on-7, and 11-on-11 drills are permitted. From what I understand, the Raiders, they just did not practice today. So the Raiders OTAs will start tomorrow, May 21st. And I'll just say it looks like that they're going to have 9 practices, not 10. Maybe they decide to make up an extra day. Maybe there was a little bit of a complication. But when the official team site says that OTA practices start on May 20th, and then the Raiders aren't starting until 21st. I don't know if there was a complication or if they're just going to add an extra practice day maybe a little bit down the road. Just something to keep in mind because I had a lot of Raider fans asking, Mitch, what's the latest going on with the OTA practice today? The latest is it starts tomorrow. Coming up here, Zamir White is really, and I mean really bulking up. I mean, we've seen videos this offseason of him curling 200 pounds, which that alone, it's insane. And he has been, man. Dude has been bulking up, putting on a lot of weight, and I don't blame him. He knows he's in a career year. He knows he's got this season to be able to prove that he can be a bell cow back, and he knows he's got big shoes to fill with Josh Jacobs. Now, anytime that we have Raiders news, whether it's OTA news, maybe there's no news around it, or anytime we're going to talk about Zamir White, if you bleed silver and black, hit that subscribe button. If you're a fan of Jim Otto, hit that subscribe button. If we're going to sit up here and say that Raider Nation is a family through and through, this is your chance to prove that we are a family through and through here. If you want videos for free all off season long, I promise you, Jeremy Chugs and I, we got you covered. So recently I was listening to a show and JT the Brick, he was hyping up Zamir and was just talking about like how jacked he looks, and he said that he looked bigger than Micah Parsons, which I think sometimes when people hear something like that, they automatically think like, well, yeah, Zamir White is bigger than Micah Parsons. And if you look at just his arms, sure, height-wise, weight-wise, though, Micah is still clearly the bigger player. But like, one of the reasons why I thought this was interesting is because I know that the offseason at this time of the year usually is the Best shape of life season is what we say at Chat Sports, where every guy's in great shape, everybody is bulking up, and everybody's about to have a career year. But sometimes, I do think that you can take what people are saying and be like, well, maybe we should look into this a little bit more. And I know Zamir has been working his tail off in the offseason, in the weight room, and he's really trying to prep for a heavy workload with Antonio Pierce in this offense. But this is what JT the Brick had to say on Zamir White. Someone told me in this building, if you lined up all 32 starting running backs in the league and said, put on a tank top or take off your shirt, everyone would say, who the hell is that guy? Who is the guy that looks bigger than Micah Parsons? Who is that guy? We've got him, and he played pretty good in the last 4 games of the 2023 season. And Zeus absolutely played great in those final 4 games. Now, when you look at this 2023 season, 104 carries, 451 yards, but 90% of those yards came in the final 4 weeks when Josh Jacobs goes down, AP and company says, all right, Zamir, now's going to be your time to shine, and he did a hell of a job carrying that workload. But again, though, Zamir White's 6 foot, 215 pounds. Let's say he bulked up. Even if he's at 225, he's not 6'3", 245 pounds. So, I do want to throw this out there because I saw that quote, and I had a few Raider fans ask me, does that mean that Zamir White is over 245 pounds? There is no way in hell Zeus is over 245. There's no way he put on 35 pounds of muscle. There's no way you put on 35 pounds of bad weight. All I'm saying is he is in good shape. He is bulking up, and Zamir White does look like an absolute freaking monster, and I can't wait to see him blow up some people on the football field this season. So we all know that Zamir is a big dude, and he has the opportunity to have a really good season this year because they're going to run the football, they're going to rely on their defense, and you're going to try to take pressure off of Gardner Minshew and Aidan O'Connell, especially in the red zone. How many rushing touchdowns will Zamir White have this upcoming season? If you bleed silver and black, let me know down below. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's show. After this YouTube ad break, it's going to be my answer. I believe Zamir White's going to have 8 rushing touchdowns this season. I did a show last week about my projections for the Raiders starting running back this upcoming season. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's around him potentially being a bell cow and whether or not I like that word and how many carries I think he gets, how many rushing yards I think he gets, the impact that he is going to be making on this backfield because we talk a lot about Devontae, we talk a lot about the quarterback play. The Raiders offense, if you want it to be as good as I think what we are all hoping that it can be, Zamir needs to hold on to the football and be a consistent, reliable runner. Somebody that's able to pick up 4.5 yards per carry, goes north and south, and picks up a lot of those clutch first downs. Because last season, you saw it at times, and he is bulking up. And I want a running back, and I want a player that's taking on this me against the world mantra and going into a season where you know that is a prove-it year, that you know it could be a make-or-break year for Zamir White's career. And if he knows that, I'm really hoping that he has the year, not quite like what Jacobs had 2 seasons ago when he went into his career year, his make-or-break season, but I am hoping Zamir White really shows up. And coming up here on the show, I'm going to flat out say it. Am I sleeping on Zamir White's upside? I'm a fantasy football guy through and through. I'm a Raider fan through and through. And last week I did. I said that Zamir White is not going to have 1,000 yards rushing because I believe that this team is going to be a running back by committee based off of what AP, Telesco, the Raiders running back coach, all of them done. After today's show, though, I'm starting to wonder, shit, am I sleeping on Zamir White, and should I have him ranked a little bit higher in some of my fantasy football rankings and maybe my projections for this upcoming season? Before I get into that, though, I got to show some love to our awesome sponsor here, Prize Picks, and I had a hell of a weekend with Prize Picks. I'm not going to lie to you. I put a lot of money in my pocket. I was having some fun watching some NBA games, and I've been doing a lot of moving, unpacking, so being able to, watch the games, unpack, plus, know that I got some money with Prize Picks and all I had to do was choose more or less. Here's the thing, though. What I love is when you give me something a little bit different, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike, so all you got to do is just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Prize Picks also has a fun game for the NBA playoffs, which you can play the stars. look for select players on the board with star icons, win a lineup that includes one or more star players, and get a 10% boost on your winnings if the lineup is perfect. So my lineup that I have here for Celtics and Pacers is this one. I'm going to go 10 rebounds for Jason Tatum. I took the more there. I think it's 3 straight games that he's had double-digit rebounds. Tyrese Halliburton, give me the less on points. He hasn't scored over 19.5 points this season against the Celtics. And then Drew Holiday, give me the more on 4.5 assists. If this hits, guess what? I get a 10% boost, and I get to watch this game on Tuesday. I can't wait to do it. And if anybody out there also wants to just let Jeremy and I know who's going to end up winning it all, whether you're a Mavericks fan, Celtics fan, a Pacers fan, or a Wolves fan, you can put your money where your mouth is with our awesome sponsor, Prize Picks. That link is going to be available to you all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Again, Prize Picks is simple. You pick more or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. It is really that simple. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. So am I sleeping on Zamir White's upside? And I think when you do the show as long as I've done this show, and then also you sit back and you think about like all the things that have happened in your life, where I always try to write down when something happens, that way I'm prepared for it the next time. And the reason why I'm leaning into this is because I can remember all the notes that I had on Maxx Crosby when he was a 2019, when he was a rookie, and I'm like, dude, this guy is getting a lot of hype, and then he ends up turning out to be a hell of a player. Well, now you got Zamir White, and you're already finding out that he's bulking up. All the reports are that he looks really good, and he does. Like, dude looks like an absolute freaking monster. Also, does anybody remember Zamir talking about this offseason? And I will tell you exactly why I'm going to bring it up, because there is a fact of being country boy strong, and Zamir White not only looks country boy strong, he is country boy strong. I have probably got like 12 horses right now. Man, we've got hogs, we've got cows, we've got goats, we've got it all. You name it, I've got my garden. You know how to do it. My grandpa had me liking that stuff since I was born. So that's just part of me, man. I love it to death. The reason why that I'm bringing this up is because this is one of those things that is always like in my mental background, and I have said it on this show a bunch of times. Growing up when I was a kid, my family, my dad, my grandfather, again, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, Amish country, and then where I'm from, you do farm. I grew up on a horse farm myself. I worked with horses growing up, and my family used to always tell me there's 2 people you don't fight with. You don't fight with wrestlers or basically anybody that's got cauliflower ear, and you don't fight with farmers. So the fact that Zamir White is working on a farm and he looks the way that he does, I am telling you from just personal experience, and I know a lot of you watching right now probably are going to agree with that. Like, being country boy strong is very, very different, and the fact that he's working on a farm, getting in shape, and looks the part, I am actually starting to wonder, am I sleeping on the upside of Zamir White? Because he's going to get an opportunity, and he's going to get a lot of touches. Is his body going to be able to hang on to it? Is he going to have enough opportunities to be great? Because last season, Zamir averaged 3.21 yards after contact. That was 10th in the NFL for all running backs that ended up qualifying. My point is, though, the more and more Zamir White got work last season, the better and better he looked. What happens if you give it this 4-game sample size, you give him more work, you give him more reps, and an offense that, quite frankly, he's got more talent this season than what it did last season. Like, his running lanes are going to be better. This offensive line this year compared to last year, I do expect this offensive line to be better. You look at our skill position players, they are better. The quarterback play is going to be better. And if Zamir can go out and he can prove that he deserves to be that bell cow, that he deserves to get more touches, I think that I might have underestimated the upside that Zeus truly has. When you look at the final 4 games on a per-game basis. Now, I do this because I want to be able to show you the projections from top to bottom. He was averaging 21 carries for 99 rushing yards. That's 4.7 yards per carry and 0.25 touchdowns. If you were to take those numbers, and if you were to put them through an entire season, obviously, it's going to be some big numbers. Now, like, the touchdown numbers are going to be a little bit lower just based off of the overall production. But, like, let's face it here. If you get 357 carries, you're going to get more than 4 touchdowns, right? My point is, on a 17-game pace, he was getting 357 carries for 1,683 yards. I don't anticipate that AP and Telesco do end up giving Zamir that much work, just considering the fact of that I do consider that they're going to go with a running back by committee. But I'll tell you this right now, after seeing some of this, and I'm literally convincing myself live here on the show as I'm talking about it, if you think Zamir White has over 1,000 rushing yards this season, I want you to hit that like button right now. If you believe in Zeus, if you believe in number 3, if you believe in this country boy strong, smash that like button. I do expect the Raiders to go with a running back by committee, but Zeus may prove me wrong again. And what do I mean by that? I said last season that Zeus is not good enough to be an every down back. I said last season that Zeus isn't a good running back. What did he do? The more and more reps he got, the better and better he got. And I hope every time he touched the football, he thought in the back of his mind, F that Chucky head guy, F that Just Win Baby guy from YouTube. I hope he proves me wrong again. Zeus, I'm rooting for you. Keep on bulking up here. And I can't wait to see what you do this upcoming season. Also, before we get into the final story coming up here on the show around Rashee Rice, I do want to say again, remember that you're subscribed. We got a Week 3 Madden Sim tomorrow. Jeremy told me it's crazier than our game against the Ravens, which I don't even know how that's even humanly possible. But make sure you're tuned in. We're going to be going live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. And I wanted to give you an update on what our Raiders Report live schedule looks like this week and a little bit next week. My dad is in town, and I haven't seen him in a long, long time, so no live show is going to be this Thursday, this Friday, these 2 days, and then Monday is a holiday. My dad's still in town, so no live shows. A lot next week. I will be live tomorrow, and then the next time I'll be live after that is May 28th, which we will also be doing a Madden watch party for. So the news around Rashee Rice and the Kansas City Chiefs is this. With the Chiefs kicking off their organized team activities today, wide receiver Rashee Rice will be attending and participating in all activities, according to Adam Schefter. The reason why I put this in here is because I want to keep your friends close, but you got to keep your enemies closer. And I'm going to do my best to update you guys on all the things going on around Rashee Rice, because I know he's practicing, and some people might take this as, Mitch, he's practicing, that means he's going to play. I do not think there is any chance in hell Rashee Rice plays Week 1 of the season. I also don't think that there's any chance in hell that Rice is going to be on the football field the first 8 weeks of the season. Like, I think at minimum he's getting suspended 8 games for the 2 knuckleheaded things that he did this offseason. If it was up to me, I'd probably suspend him for the whole year. If you made it this far in the video, again, Jim Otto, R.I.P., man. Sending my love to the family, the Otto family. Just absolutely devastating, but he lived an amazing life at age 86 years old. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're not watching us live on YouTube, remember, we go live every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. I should have just started the show off as, if you're not watching this live, you need to see it for Jeremy's shirt, because it's worth the price of admission. TV show you're looking forward to this summer?
You know, you got the summer TV shows coming, the new series coming out. House of the Dragon is one that I'm really looking forward to.
So National Streaming Day is today.
National Streaming Day, or just a show that you're looking forward to that's coming back. Like,
I mean, mine would have been
Stranger Things.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Stranger Things?
Nope, never seen it. I've watched House of Dragon. Very excited about that one.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very excited about that one.
Also, this is half me asking, what show do I need to watch?
Venthrak wants to know if that's you or Magnum P.I. Yeah?
Oh, yes, Nico the Boys.
What is that? Happy Gilmore 2?
Yeah, Happy Gilmore 2, which I don't know if it's coming out this summer.
Do you think that's going to be good, honestly? I'm so worried it's going to be bad.
I don't know. Dude, The Boys, there's a contingent of us that have watched it. I think Rolly, Smitty, I don't know who else has watched it, but
dude,
The Boys is so good.
Happy Gilmore 2?
It's basically like if superheroes were just like normal people, lived in normal everyday lives, and they were just like, it was just like superheroes are just like celebrities. So like they go to events, they go to all this stuff or whatever. You see them out in public, and like some of them are good, some of them are bad. It's like they're just like normal people.
Interesting.
But
I mean, I'll have to watch it.
The show's crazy.
Yeah? Okay.
Very graphic.
Oh, really?
When people die, it's like their bodies just like explode.
Oh, wow. Okay. So like you're going to see everything.
Yes.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, to be honest, I like movies where it is like that.
Yes. You'll love it. It's a good story. It's a good story too. And then there's people that like hunt the superheroes because they think they're bad. And
okay, I'll check it out. I mean, now that I have 2 TVs in my house, apartment, I don't even know. Now I can watch things by myself, and I don't have to watch what Alex watches. So, though I've been watching a lot of the NBA playoffs, but it's good to know.
So neat. It's not a spoiler because it happens in the I think the episode 1 or at some point, but you know the Flash, like the superhero The Flash.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy in there where he's like very similar. Like he runs at the speed of light, and he runs through somebody at some point, and like their body just explodes.
AKA Zamir White.
Yes, bulking season. Deadpool 3 is coming out.
Love Deadpool. Also love how many people are getting in this duck race right now. I got 93 Navman in. Anthony Marigil is going to be in twice. Shout out to him. I got Jason Gutierrez.
Yeah.
You are in.
Andre, I forgot about that. Receiver.
Ira in. Oh, dude, yes. That's my answer. Receiver with Devontae Adams.
They're not doing a quarterback this year then, right?
They are.
They are? They just added receiver to it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they added a receiver as well because I'm pretty sure quarterback's got Burrow in it. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But the receiver ones are really good. I know Devontae for a fact, which I'm excited to see. Andres Montano, you are in. Norman Hernandez, you're in. I got my man Ron Raspberry. He's in this piece. Alex Laidley, you in. PG2869 is in.
I think Deadpool 3 is coming out next month.
And then my guy Can't Walk is in.
Actually, no, July 26th. So we're 2 months out.
$10 Venmo right now for a chance to win $55 here on the Raiders Report at Mitchell Renz 365. I love Ryan Reynolds. Anything Ryan Reynolds, I'm in. Like, there's sometimes like I ask people, what character from like a TV show do you think like you kind of are like? Ryan Reynolds is a lot funnier version of me, but my sense of humor is Ryan Reynolds. I guess if that makes sense. What?
I feel like this is a long way of you being like, if somebody ever makes a movie out of me, Ryan Reynolds can play me.
I'd be okay with it. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, that'd be cool for you.
All right, who plays you?
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill? Yeah, I figured. Why is that?
People told me that I look like Jonah Hill from 21 Jump Street.
Or we could do a spin-off of The Hangover in Las Vegas. You can get Alan.
I'll be Alan.
Who am I? I don't know. I was like, I could be Stu, but Stu gets, that's just.
You can be Stu.
Would you rather get all right, honest question. One, let me know. This one goes out to all y'all. You're Stu, right? Would you rather get a Mike Tyson face tattoo type 1 or the implants type 2? Honest question. What would you rather, if you're like.
Oh, Raider Babymaker said you can be Chang.
Oh, dude, perfect. Chang and I have something in common. We both have a monkey. No, just kidding. Seriously, though, what would you rather do? Face tattoo or wake up with implants? What would you rather? 1 for face tattoo, 2 for implants.
Toodaloo, motherfucker!
What do you think is easier to get rid of? The implants?
Yeah, I'm going implants.
You're going to go implants?
Of course. I'm not getting a tattoo.
A face tattoo?
Yeah.
Though you could also get that removed.
That's way more painful.
What's easier to get removed, the face tattoo or fake boobs? I would imagine it's the fake boobs.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I might agree with you, though. I think everyone is saying 1 for the face tat.
Also, could you just imagine going out in public, just like everything else normal dude, and you just got a rack?
A rack. I'm telling you right now.
You're just rocking a V-neck. Everything else normal. You're just wearing like, khaki shorts, Vans on, like everything else normal.
V-neck.
Just like beard, everything else normal, and you just got a rack.
Oh, dude. Who said anything about removing it? Raider Muerte. Raider Muerte's like, I'll tell you what, that sounds like some good vibes.
Where's I saw him in there earlier. I have a lovely bunch of coconuts was here.
I mean, we already know that answer.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ. He's a lovely bunch of coconuts is getting them, and he's keeping them. All right, got a few more people here that are getting in this duck race here. Shout out to Luis A. You're in. What up, Yoda is in, and then my guy Miggy also in. So right now we got a $10 Venmo, chance to win $70 here on the Raiders Report. Again, we're going to do that at the end of today's show. Ed said Mitch can be Phil.
Phil.
Phil's the one that gets lost, right? Right? Or no, is Phil, which one's the cool guy? With the long hair, he's got the aviators.
Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, who is he? Phil? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Because I got to watch that movie again. Who gets lost? Stu. Does he? No. Stu is.
Doug gets lost.
Doug. Christ. Yeah, because we knew Doug. Yep. Okay.
New Doug.
Yep. Venthrax sending in the good vibes. John Rodriguez, Chugs, watch Shogun in Outer Range. Shogun.
I've been told Shogun's really good.
I think of the old MMA fighter,
but
Shogun.
Yeah. But it's one of those where it's like you have to be very focused. Kind of like, did you ever watch Narcos?
Nope. Yes, I did.
So it's a lot of it is like in another language where you're reading subtitles.
Correct, yep.
And you're like having to pay attention to a lot. So I've tried to start Shogun, but it's like one of those where you have to be like fully ready and invested episode 1 and like be in it. Because if you're like half focused, I feel like you're not going to understand like what's going on.
Yeah. I watched Narcos after I watched Squid Game, and I can remember Alex being like, well, you liked Squid Game, and that show was in a totally different language, so let's watch Narcos.
Dude, Squid Game, the reality show was amazing.
Absolutely.
I want them to do another one, and I want to be in it.
So I don't know if you guys know this. I said it before. Alex got invited to do that Squid Game show. They just asked her, you have to take off. It was like 5 or 6 weeks or something like that, just in case. So she like wasn't able to do it. I don't know if I'd want to be like in a show like that. Like if you're there 5 to 6 weeks and you leave with nothing.
But you can win money in the different challenges too.
Sure. The amount of like risk and luck, like I like games that there is strategy involved, but there's so much luck, dude.
They always put out there, because I like Survivor, they always put out there, if you want to join, like sign up to join, da-da-da. And I've been thinking about
like
Survivor.
I would like to do a show that's more based on like challenges and not so much luck.
Do you think they would let me leave for a summer to do Survivor?
Yeah, we'd allow it.
You think so?
Dude, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
If I was on TV on Survivor?
Yes, that would be sick,
They're
dude.
just like, you have to wear a Chat Sports shirt.
Absolutely not.
Do you think they let you?
Probably not, dude. You probably have to wear exactly what they tell you. I mean, now that if you wanted to do something like that, if we just put Cullen in a Hawaiian shirt, I bet you half the people don't even notice. People don't even notice.
Oh, wow, Chugs looks different.
We just put Cullen and we're good.
Is that Chubbs?
Chubbs. Chubbs. Oh, shit. All right, y'all. Next show that we got coming up here on today's show is going to be around Emmanuel Ogbah. ESPN recently linked the NFL free agent to the silver and black. And coming up here on the show, I'm going to tell you whether or not I want the Raiders to sign Emmanuel Ogbah. Spoiler alert, I want the Raiders to sign Emmanuel Ogbah. I'd like that very much. Very, very mucho. If you want the Las Vegas Raiders to sign free agent Emmanuel Ogbah, smash that like button right now. Do you believe that you can never have too many edge rushers? Hit that like button. Do you believe that having more people get after Patrick Mahomes could ever be a bad thing? The answer is no. And I also know that the fit makes sense. Coming up here on today's show, I'm going to tell you why the Raiders should go out, make the move, and sign Emmanuel Ogbah. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, ESPN released an article, Best NFL Team Fits for Remaining Free Agents and Trade Candidates. Ogbah, he was selected for the Silver and Black, and I'm going to tell you why I agree with the Raiders. And yes, they should go out and sign Emmanuel Ogbah. Hell, a lot of people that watch the show that are subscribed, that are the real ones that we always talk about. I've been talking about this for weeks, and I'm going to tell you if he does end up signing with the Silver and Black, when it would happen, because there are 3 days, very important days, and when I think Ogbah would sign that dotted line for Las Vegas. So here's what the article was from ESPN Plus, and I know not a lot of people have this, so I decided to take this article, make it into a video here because Ogbah's a big-time name. We are through the main transaction portion of the 2024 NFL offseason as teams have reloaded with free agent signings, trade acquisitions, and draft picks. OTA workouts are rolling, and mandatory minicamps are closer than you think, but a handful of unsigned free agents are still looking for a roster, and there's always the possibility of a trade or two before training camp start up in July. With that in mind, let's find ideal landing spots for 14 veteran free agents plus one big-name receiver who requested a trade to fill the remaining team needs or add depth. When I evaluate player to a team matches, I'm looking at how each guy fits in a scheme, how each might be able to help immediately, and whether the team has the cap space to add players. This late in the process, most of these players will end up signing one-year low-risk deals that include incentives to make some more cash. So ESPN outlined why they decided to look at these 14 players and have them linked to certain teams. With Ogbah being linked to the Silver and Black, and with the amount of times that I've talked about this just in the last a few weeks, but even you go back even before the draft, I was saying Emmanuel Ogbah should be a player that the Raiders target. I'm going to tell you why the Raiders should listen to ESPN and why the Raiders should listen to the Raiders Report and go out and sign Ogbah. I will promise you this as well. If this team makes this move and they go out and they land him, we're going live. I promise you this right now. I can't promise you whether they're going to sign him. I can't even promise you how much money it's going to be. I can't even tell you that I promise if he's going to be good or not. I think he'll be good, and I'll be on this show celebrating it. And if they make this deal happen, we're going live, we're partying, bring your drinking pants. It's going to be a movie. So here's why the Raiders should go out and sign Emmanuel Ogbah. They still need depth at defensive end. Maxx Crosby, stud. Malcolm Kuntz, going to be a good player. Tyree Wilson, hoping that he has a breakout year, but there is still a little bit of that uncertainty. After that, Emmanuel Ogbah is an upgrade over every single other name that you see up there on screen. And with the shenanigans that Janarius Robinson did this offseason, I would move on from him. And then you'd have Crosby, Kuntz, Tyree, Ogbah, who can still get after the quarterback. Not bad at all. The Raiders, they still need some of that extra pass rush because it is never a bad thing. I will never sit up here, and if the Raiders go out and they sign an edge, now obviously if they sign somebody to a ridiculous contract, I might sit back and pause a little bit. But at this point in the offseason, it probably will be a one-year deal. It probably will be a low-risk deal with high incentives, and I'm okay with the high incentives. If Ogbah goes out there and he balls out, I'm okay paying any player that. Hell, I've said multiple times that if it was up to me, most contracts would be incentive-based. Then when you look at the numbers for Ogbah, 5.5 sacks last season, limited time. 2022, he got hurt. But in 2021 and 2020, guess what? He was working with Rob Leonard, Raiders defensive line coach now, and he had 18 sacks combined in those 2 seasons. Emmanuel Ogbah would look great in silver and black. Now, I like to think that I'm looking pretty good, too. Also in my Jim Otto jersey, RIP to one of the GOATs out there. And I saw today that you can get a Jim Otto jersey on sale. Usually they're $130. You can get it now for $90. And I'm thinking just because of our jersey sponsor, wanted to be able to just say, hey, we got some of these Jim Otto jerseys. They're from extra small. I want to say they go all the way up to 5XL. Raider Ron wanted me to rock a Jim Otto jersey, so I'm rocking my Jim Otto jersey. And if anybody out there wants to be able to rock this awesome jersey, maybe the Otto family on top of that, the link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Chatsports.com/Otto. Again, the jersey was on sale. Because it was on sale, I said, you know what? I bet a lot of people amongst the nation right now would take advantage of this awesome deal to be able to rep one of the greatest Raiders of all time. Chatsports.com/Otto. Let's go to the next story coming up here around why the Raiders should sign Emmanuel Ogbah. He has worked with players and he has worked with coaches. So, like, already, I think one of the biggest risks that you have when you add a player is, does he fit with the team? Is the chemistry going to be there? Not too often do you know that the answer is going to be yes. Ogbah worked with Rob Leonard, Raiders defensive line coach, in 2020 and in 2021. He's also played with Christian Wilkins, who the Raiders signed to a massive deal this offseason. He's also played with Adam Butler and John Jenkins back from their time in Miami. On top of that, which, you know, at this point, I'm kind of looking for the cherry on top. I'm looking for the sprinkles, or I recently found out that some people call sprinkles jimmies, which that was one of the most mind-blowing things I've heard all weekend. Back to the show, though, Ogbah also played with the Chiefs in 2019. And one of the things that Telesco has said before that he values is players that have AFC West experience. Has AFC West experience. On top of that, won a Super Bowl. And I get it. It was with Kansas City. But for a team that doesn't have really any playoff experience, you're still hoping that this team finds a way to make it into the playoffs. And if you make it in, you got a chance to win. If all you got to do is a chance to make the dance, then anybody can do it. So having playoff experience, AFC West experience, relationships with players and coaches, you add all of that together. Yes, I do think that the Raiders should sign Emmanuel Ogbah. I am going to type my S for sign, but this show isn't about me. It's about all of y'all. This is the pinned comment on today's show. Scroll on down, give me your answer. Should the Raiders sign Emmanuel Ogbah? Yes, they should sign him because also they have the money to do so. Like, if the Raiders were penny pinching, if they didn't have any money, then this would be a totally different conversation. So not only does he fit the scheme, not only does he have the relationship with the players, the coaches, like, this signing is starting to make almost too much sense. I can almost make the argument it makes just as much sense to sign Ogbah as it does Xavier Howard. Hell, they're both teammates. Put them together on one team. You got $18.4 million in cap space according to Over the Cap. That's 14th best in the league. You're also going to get $24.1 million after June 1st from that Jimmy G money. So let's just say you add both of that together, you're going to be at $42.5 million in cap space somewhere around June 2nd, which somewhere going to be around the third most in the NFL. And I've had people say, Mitch, well, you got to extend certain guys. With $42.5 million, you have enough money to go out and get Emmanuel Ogbah. You have enough money to go out and sign Xavier Howard. And you have enough money to give contract extensions to Robert Spillane, Nate Hobbs. I don't think Malcolm Kuntz is going to do it, though. I would love for him to get an extension. You have the money to give extensions and go get your guy in Emmanuel Ogbah. Then he's the best edge available. Like, there was other players out there, and recently I've talked about Bud Dupree, which he recently just went to the Chargers. Another player that I brought up is Yannick Ngakoue, who has a good relationship with Maxx Crosby, who was a Raider back in 2021. And Ngakoue really only gives you the ability to get after the quarterback, where Ogbah still gives you ability to do a little bit of both. And on top of the fact that he can be that outside stand-up linebacker, because that's also something that he did with Rob Leonard back when Miami ran a 3-4 defense, so it was a little bit different. But I actually think that having somebody that can be a stand-up outside linebacker, edge, defensive end type of talent, somebody that you just allow him to pin his ears back at age 30, gives you some of that playoff experience. You add all of that stuff together is why I think that, yes, the Las Vegas Raiders would be very smart to go out and sign Emmanuel Ogbah. So coming up here is, if I'm sitting up here saying yes, and I think most of the people that are watching the show right now are saying yes, it makes sense to do it, well, when would it happen? I'll tell you when I think it would happen, because there's 3 dates to keep in mind. I do got to give a shout-out to the Noti gang. Shout out to David Silva, Ron Raspberry, and Martin. These were the first 3 people to comment on a video that I dropped recently. I asked Chugs, I said, hey, Chugs, man, who's part of the Noti gang? Who are we rocking with? And he gave me these 3 names here. So if you want to see your name up on the Raiders Report, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. If you don't know where it is, it's underneath the video. Literally looks like that. Click all. That way when I drop a video, you get an alert on your phone, just like a booty call. All right, so when is Ogbah going to sign with the Raiders if it does end up going down? I would say right after June 1st. Like, I'm making this video right now. It is May 20th at the time that I am recording. And guess what? It's not going to happen now. And I don't even see it happen during Raiders OTAs, you got 90 players on the roster. You're allowed to have 91, so they can still sign them. They don't have to cut anybody. You take that money, you take all of that extra money that you're going to get after the Jimmy Garoppolo cutting. And if I'm Ogbah, I'm looking and I'm like, do I want to sign with a team right now that's got $18.4 million in cap space, or do I want to sign with a team that's going to have close to 42.5? The answer is 42.5. So not only does it make sense for Ogbah to wait until after June 1st, it also makes a lot of sense for the Raiders to wait until after June 1st. The other date that I would say you could potentially look at is after Raiders OTAs, and this was something that I talked about last week, that if I was Antonio Pierce and I'm Telesco, I actually roll with the roster that I have throughout the entirety of OTAs, and if I do decide to bring somebody in, maybe it would be like June 3rd, because then you practice June 3rd, June 4th, June 5th, June 6th. A guy like Ogbah, though, I don't really see him showing up to OTAs, so you could potentially sign after June 6th, and the reason why that this is an important date is because he doesn't want to participate in OTAs, but I do think having him out there at mandatory minicamp would be at least good. That's from June 11th to June 13th. So if you end up signing after OTAs June 6th, you kind of get the ability to move to Vegas, get acclimated for a few days, and then you're ready to go for June 11th, June 13th. But the date that I think that if a guy like Ogbah ends up signing with the Raiders or with any NFL team, I would say right before training camp is when it's going to end up happening. Remember last offseason, all the Marcus Peters talk when, I got to give my guy his flowers. Shout out to Graf, where Graf was like, months before it actually happened, the Raiders are going to sign Marcus Peters. It's going to happen. And this is kind of what would have to happen. So NFL training camp, gets going around July 29th, and the Raiders' first preseason game is August 10th. I am a believer that most veterans like Ogbah that don't really think that they need to practice at this point in their career, they're going to be able to show up, be in game shape, be ready to rock and roll. They would probably sign right before training camp gets underway. Again, you get acclimated to Vegas, you get out there, you get situated, and then that way you're ready to jump in head first for training camp. So in conclusion, I agree with ESPN that the Raiders should sign Ogbah. Hell, if I'm Emmanuel Ogbah and his agent, the number one team that I'd want to go to is probably the Las Vegas Raiders. You got a really good opportunity in front of you, and what if they decide to put Tyree Wilson on the inside all the time, and then they let Emmanuel be just like that extra rotational piece behind Malcolm Kuntz and Maxx Crosby? Big opportunity. I will say if it happens, it will be after June 1st. I do think it'll happen if it does right before training camp, and my projected that it would come out to is about 1 year, $5 million contract with the incentive to get up to probably like $8, maybe $9 million. So Emmanuel, if you're watching the show, and you want to join the Raiders Report, and you want to rock that shield, you want to rock the silver and black, hit me up on IG or Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. Would love to make it happen. I thought that said, do you have pests? Do you have pets? If so, what are their names?
It's National Dog Rescue Day.
Dog Rescue Day.
Trizzy?
Chuck is also a rescue. Trizzy's been looking at a dog. Triz, did you get dude? It's official? Oh,
You
man.
got him?
That's what he said.
Let's go.
Trace just adopted a dog. Dog's name is Dude.
His name is Dude.
Not picked by Trace, but it could be. I love the name Dude for a Trace dog. I mean, come on. Dude.
Let's see. I see Gus, and Biscuit. I see Blackjack. I see Bentley.
Biscuit's probably the book that I've read the most.
Ken says I have a dog named Caramel Macchiato.
Oh, yeah?
Roscoe.
Def
Mac,
Halo says, hey, man.
2 cats, Loki and Misty, PJ and Tank.
Choco Bear and Roxy.
Shadow,
if Buddy
my
Bear's
dog,
not here.
by Miguel. Don Roney. Mr. Paddington, a dog.
Ventrac, brutal.
My German Shepherd's name is Bo.
I see Raiders Just Win Baby says Mac. Dog named Zeus from Lord Only Dan's. Ginger, my dog.
Sienna says Ginger. My
Ginger.
dog. Gingy. My doggy.
Ginger.
Piper, Priscilla, Kylo, Pow Pow.
Dude, I love it.
Angel and Kaya, Aurelio?
Who?
I think you meant Oreo.
Richie, I hope that's true.
What?
Richie Esquivel.
My dog's name is Chugs.
If somebody can prove that, dude.
I mean, you can just start calling your dog Chugs.
Sure.
Cocoa Beans, Daisy and Finley,
If somebody got 2 dogs and named them Mitch and Chugs, I don't know what I would do, but
we buy him some toys.
We'd have to buy him some toys. There's no doubt. That would be pretty iconic. That's how we know we've made
I'm
it.
not Bueno says I have a gerbil named Chugs.
I can't tell. If you're serious.
Equally as cool.
Is that really? Do you actually? Because that's something that I got to see. Like, I want proof that your gerbil's name is Chugs.
Marsh, you might have been mentioned on Big New York Radio, but this guy has a gerbil named Chugs. Beat that.
Suck it. I will admit, watching a gerbil drink water does remind me of you taking down a boot. I could see it, dude. I'm telling you what. I could see it. I absolutely could see it.
Hugo, a 110-pound lab.
Nico says a chinchilla named Mitch. No way.
I had a buddy in high school who had a chinchilla. Really cool pet. Very soft.
A chinchilla? Why can I not think of this?
It's like the softest animal ever. And there was like a whole thing for a little bit because people would make like chinchilla fur like sweaters and stuff like that. But like they're like tiny. Like they're like big. They're like, it's like if a squirrel was a little bit bigger and fluffier.
Okay. I feel like if you were to take a squirrel and a rat.
And like, no, because it's like furry.
I know, but a rabbit, a squirrel, and a rat, you could just combine it. That's what that looks like.
Yeah.
To me. It's pretty cute, though. A chinchilla. Interesting.
But yeah, they're so soft, and people would like want to make like chinchilla jackets and stuff.
Oh.
But like they're so small, you need like
holy
50
shit.
chinchillas for a jacket.
50?
Yeah, maybe not 50, but like
probably need more than that.
You need a lot. You need a lot of chinchillas.
Oh man, that's sad. All good though. Do you have any pets? If so, what are their names? Also, if you haven't already gotten in, $10 50/50 raffle here on the Raiders Report. 93 Navman wants another spot.
Raider Baby Maker says, chinchillas? No, I'll stick to enchiladas.
Yeah, touche. Right now, if you get in 10, you'd win $80 here on the Raiders Report. We got one more segment coming up here on today's show. After that,
me, you, and Trace are the only people with pets here. I don't think anybody else has pets.
Petey.
Oh, yeah, Petey has Cruz.
Petey's got a dog.
Harrison has a cat, but...
Allie has Smitty. Sperry kind of does.
Has a dog.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He does have a dog.
Harrison, he's got cats and a child.
James has a dog.
Yep.
Does Brett have a dog?
Yes. Yes. I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Cleo, Betsy, and Frederick. Malo and Peppa.
I don't know if Cullen does. Though, actually, Cullen told me he does. He's got a hog. That's what he told me.
Cullen, do you have a dog? You have 2 dogs?
Yep. See? Cullen's got a dog.
I thought you said he had a hog.
That's what he told me. First day he worked here, I go, do you have any pets? He goes, I got a hog. I swear, ask him.
Cullen, do you have a hog?
Dude.
He said no.
That's what he told me. He looked at me dead in the eyes. He goes, I got a hog. I'm telling you, man. You can't make that up.
If it was just you,
yep.
You didn't have to listen to Alex or anything, and you got another dog, what would you name it?
Oh man, I mean, see, I don't know. Like this is gonna sound stupid, but I am a person like, do you let the dog pick? Like, do you have like a bunch of names and like whatever one it responds to, like you go with? Because we weren't gonna name Chuck. Alex wanted to name him Charlie, and he was not listening at all to that name. And then we randomly were just like, Chuck. And he turned, it was just like instantly. We're like, all right, maybe that's what he wants. I don't know. I think if I got another dog, I would name it Chugs. That way I could come up here on this show and be like, yeah, I woke up this morning, had to take Chugs for a walk. He shit on my carpet. Great snuggler, though. Great snuggler.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. You're like, I would never get a dog and name it Mitch.
Nah.
No. Though I can be persuaded.
I was trying to do it with Danny last night, but Mitch just kept on sitting at the door and was wanting to watch.
So I let him. Oh, dude. That would be funny. I think I might name my next dog Venthrak.
Dude, if you got another dog, you should let
the nation decide.
The nation decide.
I mean, the problem is that would be the show where I'm like, all right, whoever's the MVP gets to pick the dog's name. And, like, by the end of the stream, it's Aggressive Master Raider. You know what I mean? And he's just like, that's the name.
Can you help me find my dog? What's its name? Master Raider. What? Dude. Yes, my dog's name is Master Raider. I need you to help me find it. Can you scream it through the streets?
Dude, there is a hilarious skit about a dog's name. I can't say it, but dude, there's good skits, man.
Yeah.
Would you name your dog something that if like have other people say its name would be funny to you? No? Okay, good. That's the right answer. That's the right answer. You don't do it. Now, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we got a bunch of names.
How do we feel? Do we like human name like very human names?
That's fine. You can name like if a dog's name was Randy.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, that's fine.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, you just can't take him to an island.
Like I don't know if I could get a dog and be like, "Here, Marshall."
Oh, I could. Go home, Marshall. Go home.
Sienna said Crosby's going to be my next dog.
Oh, that's cool. See, like, I like that.
I like Marley. Monty's a good one.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought about Alex and I when we first started talking about dogs because I said I wanted the black lab and she said that she wanted a, like, regular lab. I said, what if we said Raider and Cowboy? And she wasn't on board for that. But I wouldn't have mind that, to be honest. Like, that's... Though... I always told her, I was like, would I pick a favorite just based off of the name? Which maybe that's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Cowboy ends up liking me. Raider hates me. Yeah, I can't have that. All right. Final segment.
Three dogs that we have between me and Danny's family. Our dog Sadie. Then Danny's parents have a dog that's name is Archie. And then her sister has a dog that's name is Ruthie.
Ruthie. I like Archie. I like that. I mean, Sadie, I don't know if I've ever met Sadie. Have I ever?
Sadie!
I'll say that's the only way I can actually hear it in my head. Oh, man. All right, let's get into the last segment here around Harrison Bryant. Again, if anybody wants a chance to win some money here on today's show, well, you got a $10 Venmo. Right now you have a chance to win $80. That was until Raider Honcho decided to get in. And then I got Philip B., and then Bogert Phil. Both in right now, $10 Venmo. You have a chance to win 95 doll hairs here on the Raiders Report. You know what? Next person to get in, since you're technically the person that makes it 100, I'll give you two. I'll give you two entries, the next person to get in here.
Oh, we do have some super chats.
We do have some supers. Bonjour. F. Ogbah, I want Jackson at corner.
Adoree?
Okay, so I was going to say, you're either talking J.C. Jackson, Adoree Jackson. I don't want J.C. Jackson. That I don't think makes any sense. Adoree could be a cheap option. I guess my only thing, John, would be why not both, right? Like, this is not a situation where we have to choose one or the other. The Raiders will have enough money, especially after the Jimmy Garoppolo contract, where if the Raiders wanted, like, they could sign Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, Emmanuel Ogbah, and probably still give out a contract extension or two because of you can manipulate contracts, you can make stuff work. The Raiders have money to make things happen. Let's go to Oscar. R.I.P. to the great Jim Otto. A lot of prayers down there. Oscar, I'm rocking the Jim Otto jersey today. I actually had a few people ask me if we were going to do anything for Otto. I didn't want to do anything like drinking or boots. Earlier today, somebody said like, oh, do a boot for Otto. I didn't want to do anything that people thought that I was trying to make money off of the fact that Otto passed away. So if you're watching today's show and you want to spam those double zeros, if you want to send in something like this, please don't be afraid to do so for Otto. In terms of me actually doing anything,
dog named Otto.
I'm not going. Dude, it would be. Actually, also, one of my favorite uncles was named Uncle Otto. Also, R.I.P. Frank Perez, shout out to you for supporting the show, Frank. Much love to you, man.
He said I saw Frank was talking earlier, and he said he's getting ready for, I don't know who's playing in the NHL. The only team I follow is the Stars, but he said getting ready for Game 7 of an NHL series, and he said he's had like 3 boots.
He has.
Yes.
NHL playoff. I mean, this makes sense. You got the Vancouver Canucks and then the Edmonton Oilers, 2 Canadian teams. So is he from Canada?
Maybe. He said he's getting lit.
Like, Game 7 hockey, electric. So the Stars, they advance, right?
Yeah, they play the winner of this.
Ooh, all right. Dude, that'd be, if they make it, wouldn't that be something if the Rangers, the Stars, and Mavs all win, and then it's just the Cowboys?
They just lose in the divisional.
Oh, that would make me happy. What up, Patrick? 2 old English bulldogs named Vinny and Lefty. The real question is, Patrick, so Patrick used to have, you could probably put your dogs back on as your picture, because Patrick had to switch it because, remember that troll or whatever stole the pic? My question is Lefty on the left or the right of your picture? I can remember the 2 English bulldogs. In fact, that's still the picture I think of when I see Patrick B's name. Let's go to Raider Wifey. We have picked the Bengals game for our trip this year, so that's week 9. If you're there, Mitch, we will bring jalapenos from our garden for you and Alex.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, I don't think Alex would be able to make that trip, but that's what, like November, it's like right around November 5th or like end of October, week 9 against the Bengals. I said that Chugs and I might be able to go to this game, and that's only because we have a Cincinnati office, Chat Sports. We just opened up one now, and I've always wanted to go check it out.
I've never been to Cincinnati. I've never vacationed there.
That's all right. I've been there once for a wedding, and that was Tom's wedding.
And?
It was all right. They're really crazy about Skyline chili. I will say that. I don't recommend it, though.
It was bad?
I didn't try it. It's just the way it looks. I'm not going to eat it. You're at a wedding. Like, I'm not going to.
Wait, it was at the wedding?
Yes. That was their night snack. Which, credit to them. It was funny.
Was everybody like, oh, this is so good?
Everybody from Cincinnati, hyped. I mean, you would have thought it was like Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean? Like, hyped. Everybody else was like, what the hell is this? I'm not eating that. But, I mean, here's the thing. Once Jeremy and I had a Las Vegas hotel reach out to me today, actually, asking if Chugs and I were interested in doing some stuff out there.
Is it the one that I know of?
It is not. It's a new one. Yeah. Big one. Big one. So we'll figure out, like, our schedule and, like, how everything works. But if Chugs and I go somewhere, we 100% will let people know.
Would you say they have a hog?
Yeah. Yes. Big time. All right, y'all. Let's get into this final segment here on today's show.
Mitch all hogged up.
I wish. Also, let me real quick here. I see the people that just got in for this extra raffle. Though I said only the next person, which it was Steven Montanez. So Steven, you get the extra spot. Randall Carter, you're in, and then James Guevara is also in. So as it stands right now, $10 Venmo to win, $115 here on the Raiders Report. Next show, though, is going to be from an article I saw from Bleacher Report. I'd like to do these type of shows just because when they put out stuff, people ask me questions, then I can give my 2 cents on it. So we're going to get into this segment, then we're going to do a duck race, and then we're going to skedaddle on out here. I was told there's a big Game 7 hockey game that I got to make sure I watch tonight. So we gotta make sure that we're home in time for that one. You ready?
I'm ready.
Y'all ready to get this one going? This one also is Prize Picks, correct? Yep. These are your picks, though, just so you know. Okay, cool. Coming up, let's talk a little bit here about Harrison Bryant. Let me know down below in the comment section, will Harrison Bryant make the roster? Type yes or type no. Coming up here on the Raiders Report today, I'm going to tell you whether or not the tight end makes the Raiders 53-man roster. Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report. And coming up, I'm going to be reacting to an article I saw from Bleacher Report titled, "The Best Player Who Could Still Be Cut from Every NFL Roster in the Offseason." Harrison Bryant was picked for the silver and black, and I'm going to tell you whether or not he is going to make the 53-man roster. So some shows I like to do this where I outline 5 reasons why they will make the team, 5 reasons why they will not make the team. So you're going to see both why he will, why he won't. The reason why Bleacher Report decided to go with this article, and I like doing shows like this. This is actually how we started doing Raiders Report shows when people didn't know who Chat Sports was. ESPN, Bleacher Report, all these publications would release an article, and I would give my reaction to it. So here's the entire article from Bleacher Report. Since the bulk of free agency is over and the 2024 NFL Draft has concluded, rosters around the league will now only get smaller. To start, don't expect a marquee move anytime soon. Teams are allowed to carry 90 players in the summer, so there's not a rush to release someone who's not already on the fringe of the roster. Some of the back-end finagling will happen in May and June, but notable cuts are destined to happen. Some players who started or held an impactful rotation spot in recent years will be looking for a new team in 2024. The choices are subjective, but based on recent performance and changes to a team's depth chart, especially due to recent additions in free agency or the draft. So that's like the only reason why I'm thinking like Harrison Bryant was brought up here, because the Raiders drafted Brock Bowers. They also know they have Michael Mayer to this team. So coming up here, why the Raiders would cut Harrison Bryant. We'll first get into that, and then I'll tell you at the end why they would keep him. I will say this, if they do decide to move on from him, we will make a video around it. If the Raiders make any type of impactful roster move, we will make a video on it. I'll make a video every single day this year, next year. We've put out a video every day on this channel for 3 years. Hell, the moment that Chugs and I stop putting content out, you can unsubscribe. Thing is, I don't think that that's happening anytime soon. Help us get to 170,000 subscribers. Join the Raiders Report family and subscribe. So let's talk here about Harrison Bryant and whether or not he could potentially be released, because, yeah, I find it interesting that Bleacher Report put out this article and mentioned Bryant, considering the fact that the Raiders did sign him to a 1-year, $3.25 million deal, which I believe he has the opportunity to make up to $4 million on that contract. And I had a few people send me this and just be like, Mitch, what do you think? What's your 2 cents on it? Because, let's face it, the Raiders signed him this offseason, but they did draft Brock Bowers, and they do have Michael Mayer. So, like, I can understand why Bleacher Report at least threw this idea out there. In regards to why they decided to feature him, this is what they said. Harrison Bryant signed with the Raiders earlier this offseason, which in a vacuum makes this a head-scratching move. Didn't expect Las Vegas to draft Brock Bowers after landing Michael Mayer last year, though Bryant is a more proven tight end than Zach Gentry, but might not really be in the Raiders' plans anymore. So when you think about the Raiders' plans, right? What if the Raiders' plans were to have Harrison Bryant, Michael Mayer, and the fact that now they drafted Brock Bowers, they're like, crap, I don't know where this extra roster spot is going to be. So, like, to me, the way that the Raiders move on from Bryant, and it's like the most important role, maybe outside of the next one I'm going to bring up, is they got to have confidence in Bowers and Mayer. Like, you got to have so much confidence in those 2 dudes to decide to move on from your 3rd tight end. Now, like, maybe the Raiders decide, is it cheaper? You could save a little bit of money. We'll talk about all that coming up here in a little bit. But, like, to me, the even more glaring reason of why you would decide to move on from Bryant, it's if, like, Zach Gentry or Cole Fotheringham or John Samuel Schnenker decide that they're going to be the real tight end 3 of this team, right? Like, to me, the only name that I think even has the possibility here is Zach Gentry, and that's kind of where we're going with this next one of why the Raiders would decide to cut Harrison Bryant if they did. Can Gentry prove that he can be a reliable tight end 3? Like, if we're talking about it with, you know, the offseason, May, June, July, of training camp, mini camp, mandatory, I don't know, OTA, like all these different things. Gentry goes out there and he starts wowing people, and they're like, oh, crap, this guy's a lot cheaper. Maybe we decide to keep him. If these 2 things happen, it's really the only way that I can wrap my mind around why the Raiders would decide to do it. And coming up here on the show, I still got 3 more reasons of why the Raiders could, if they do decide to move on from Harrison Bryant. Before I get into that, though, huge shout out to our sponsor, Prize Picks. We've had Prize Picks on the Raiders Report now for months, and I'm happy that they're hanging out with us because anytime I can tell you all about something that I enjoy doing, I hope I encourage you to do the same. The Raiders Report is made possible by Prize Picks, and they've got specials for new and returning users alike. All you got to do is just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for that first-time deposit match up to $100. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with NBA, NHL, and MLB entries today on PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. All you have to do, and it's really simple, is with a little as 4 correct picks. And again, you just got to choose more or less. If you want to see what Jeremy Chuggs' season-long NFL picks are from PrizePicks, they are up on screen. We got more on Dak Prescott passing yards, less FKC on Xavier Worthy and Chris Jones. Give me the more on Brock Bowers, 4.5 receiving touchdowns. And then Josh Jacobs, well, you're no longer a part of the nation, so 7.5 rushing touchdowns. Give me the less on that for him in Green Bay. PrizePicks is simple. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS and get a first-time deposit match of $100. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Pick more, pick less. It's really that simple. Another way that you could see potentially Bryant move on or get cut this offseason is if he's a bad fit in Getsy's offense, right? Like, if the chemistry's not there with AOC, Gardner, Minshew, if he's just showing that it's just not going to be a good fit in Getsy's offense, because Luke is going to want to use 2 tight ends. And I think even like when you heard Antonio Pierce talk about using 2 tight end sets and how fired up he got about it, people are really underestimating how important the tight end room is going to be for the Silver and Black. Another way, obviously, if he's injured this offseason, if he goes down because it's a 1-year deal, like, yeah, the Raiders are going to have to eat some money in it, but if he suffers a season-ending injury or an injury like, and I hope the Raiders are smart enough, and the reason why I put this in here is because of Brandon Facyson, where Brandon Facyson went down with an injury, and Josh McDaniels lied to us for months saying, like, oh, he'll be all right. We're going to put him on 53, but he doesn't end up playing until like week 12. I hope that the Raiders realize this season every roster spot is unbelievably important. And then the last one is if Bryant asks to be released, which it does happen sometimes, right? Like last season, if you remember O.J. Howard, when the Raiders signed him, we were all like, oh, this guy's going to make the team. He got cut because O.J. asked the Raiders if he could go find somewhere else to play because he wasn't liking the opportunity that he had presented him. And Bryant, he probably looks at it as like, I can at least make a roster on him a lot of other NFL teams, but then also the Raiders, you probably have one of the best tight end rooms right now in the league. So for him, he might be like, I could be a tight end too somewhere. Could he ask to be released? That's absolutely on the table. Here's the thing, though. Harrison Bryant is not getting cut, and it is an underrated signing who is going to make an impact this season. And coming up here on today's show, I am going to tell you why Bleacher Report is wrong in saying Bryant's going to get cut, because I am like 95% sure that he ends up making this 53-man roster. In fact, the way that I would say is the most likely option that he doesn't make the team is if he asks to be released. Like, that's the most likely option. And after you get done watching the show, if you answered, yeah, they are going to release him, I promise you this, you're going to be like, yeah, they're going to hang on to this guy. First one is the Raiders made him a priority. A lot of times head coaches might not tell you exactly what's on their mind. GMs might not tell you exactly what's on their mind. But I got to give the Raiders a lot of credit this offseason because they have done exactly what they said that they were going to do. And they've also, showed you what they want to do based on their actions. And they made him a priority this offseason. Think about what the Raiders did a free agent. You re-sign Andre James. You spend big money on Christian Wilkins. You go out and get Gardner Minshew. And then what did you do? You signed Harrison Bryant. Why? Think about all the things that AP has talked about, all the things AP, Telesco, all these coaches have said about the 2 tight end system and how difficult it makes it for other opposing teams out there. Harrison Bryant will be a part of the equation this season. This I can guarantee you. So right now you're looking at his stats from the last 4 seasons. It's the 4 years that he's been in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. My question is, after seeing that he's had 13, 31, 21, and 24 receptions, how many catches will Bryant have this upcoming season if he's on the Las Vegas Raiders? You got Brock Bowers, You got Michael Mayer. What does that mean necessarily for Harrison Bryant? Because you could look at it at a bunch of different ways, like how many targets he's going to get. Because for me, that's what I look at. How many targets do I think a player is going to get? So for me, I look at this number and I go, Harrison Bryant is going to get somewhere around 31 targets. I think he's going to get 17 catches. That's been basically what his catch rate has been his entire career, for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. And don't get me wrong, a lot of y'all are going to look at that number right there and you're going to be like, Mitch, I thought you said he's going to make an impact. The impact Harrison Bryant is going to make is going to be a lot more from blocking and a lot more of just setting up things for other people, including Mayer and Bowers, that he might not fill up the stat sheet, but for people that watch the game are going to know Bryant is a damn good football player. Next reason is it doesn't make sense money-wise. Like, why am I going to move on from a player if it's going to cost me more money? If the Raiders decide to move on from Harrison Bryant, it costs you somewhere like $2.8 million, and you end up saving a grand total of $372K, right? Like, not a lot of money. He's the 33rd highest paid tight end in the NFL, if that tells you where the Raiders kind of value him. So right now, the Raiders have Harrison Bryant. They also have Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers. But Bryant, still 33rd highest paid tight end in the league, one of the cheaper tight ends in the National Football League. Yeah, he's got the contracts to make up to $4 million. If you're the silver and black, though, at this point, if he hits that incentives, you're happy that he's hitting it, because that means he's having a good year. It could also mean that you might have lost Mayer and Bowers, though. Next thing is that the Raiders are going to keep at least 3 tight ends, and he is going to make that impact. And you're going to keep the 3 tight ends at least, in Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer. And to me, the impact, again, that he's going to be making is he's one of the better run-blocking tight ends, also loves competition. Remember, the Browns, they drafted Bryant. You also had David Njoku, who they took in the first round in 2019. They also signed Austin Hooper, and Bryant found a way to make it onto that field with all that other stuff included. So, like, I know that Getsy wants to run 2 tight end sets, and there's a part of me that goes, well, if AP loves 2 tight end sets as much as he does, and if they're really looking at Brock Bowers as a weapon, which I think that they are, why would you not run an offense? And it's going to happen again. Why, like, when I saw this article, I was like, I got to talk about it, because you are going to see on the field a lot more than what people are even thinking about. Like, we got excited about Michael Gallup. We got excited about Jalen Guyton because they're receivers. I bet you that Harrison Bryant is going to be on the field almost just as much as what Michael Gallup is. And the reason why that I say that is because you're going to have the 2 tight end set. A lot of times people are saying Bowers and Mayer. What happens if it's Bowers out at a receiver in the slot, and then you got your 2 tight ends in Harrison Bryant and then Michael Mayer? Like, that's something that the Raiders are going to want to use. That's something that Luke Getsy has done his entire career, of having a blocking tight end. Harrison Bryant is going to be your blocking tight end. He's a good athlete who can help you in the red zone, and he's going to make an impact this year. Might not be in the stat sheet, but it will be in the win-loss column. That I can guarantee it. The last one is this. AOC and Minshew, why not have that extra safety blanket? I think a lot of times when we talk about young quarterbacks or inexperienced quarterbacks, the position that sometimes gets referred to as that safety blanket is the tight end position. And what if one of the extra reasons why the Raiders decided to draft Brock Bowers is because it's not bad to have an extra safety blanket? Then you get a really, really big athlete here in Bryant who, yeah, still not a receiver. And the Raiders, a lot of people are like, oh, the Raiders have a weak receiver room, but they might have the best tight end room in the National Football League. So when you think about all of those things from top to bottom, I am a big, big believer, whether it's AOC, whether it's Gardner Minshew, they are going to use these tight ends as a safety blanket. And if, God forbid, one of those players goes down, in Bowers or in Mayer, you need to have somebody that you can insert in right away, giggity, and he can be a competent, reliable NFL tight end, because this offense is going to use a lot of 2 tight end sets. So in conclusion, Bleacher Report will be wrong for predicting Harrison Bryant gets cut. It's not going to happen. The Raiders got big plans for him, and I think anybody that thinks that he is going to get cut, I can't wait to see what y'all say about him at the end of the season. He's going to make an impact this season, and it's not going to be on the stat sheet. He might put up a few catches here and there. He might find the end zone, but what he's going to add to the overall team is going to really help out the win column. And then you're going to want 3 reliable tight ends in this Luke Getsy offense for all those reasons. Corn dogs, Jackie. No, Harrison Bryant, you're going to be a member here at Las Vegas Raiders, and I was happy I was able to do this show. Raider, Harrison Bryant. Final chance to get in, man.
Dude.
Oh, my.
Did you cry tears
Frank
of joy?
Perez, this guy is average at best. I don't know if you're talking about me or Harrison Bryant. If you're talking about a tight end 3, Harrison Bryant is one of the best tight end 3s in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's one of the best tight end 3s in the NFL.
I would say he's the best tight end 4 I've ever seen.
I don't know about that, but
Name a better tight end 4.
I can't.
There you go.
He's one of the better tight end 3s, though. And the fact that he can block, I'm telling you, the Raiders signed him more for his blocking and competitive nature than for his receiving ability.
Funny, in the chat right now, Rebel Montana says FAB guy just filed for bankruptcy.
Antonio Brown? I don't know what that means, though. There's people that file for bankruptcy all the time, and they're still millionaires.
I declare bankruptcy.
That's how it works, right? And then you're good. If that happens, then you're good. All right, y'all. Final call here to get in for our 50-50 raffle. Also, reminder, tomorrow I'm rocking the Venthrak jersey. Shout out to Venthrak and Ultra VAB. Both people just absolutely went wild. We're going to be giving away a Raiders Report jersey on Tuesday, so just be on the lookout for that one. Though, somebody asked me this actually today, the next jersey giveaway that I do. So I'll actually ask you guys, would you rather do a Raiders Report jersey where, we rock the Raiders Report jersey, or would you rather us do like a Jim Otto jersey giveaway where like tomorrow, instead of like putting in for a jersey that I'd wear up here, whoever wins, we would just send you a Jim Otto jersey. If you guys, what would you pick? If you want Raiders Report jersey, type RR. If you want Jim Otto, give me 2 zeros. Whatever I see more of is what we'll end up doing. But Venthrak ended up dropping 5 Hondo. He's already got a jersey, so we're going to do a jersey giveaway. So it's whatever you guys decide.
Yep.
I think Otto is kind of the way to go, which I'm seeing a lot of double zeros.
Frank said it's time to order some pizza. Frank the Tank Perez, he is absolutely smashed right now.
Yeah.
He said, so sorry, he didn't say boot, but he did say he's on his 12th beer bong.
Christ. The question is how quick. How like what's the quickness in between? Because like I can drink, I know that, but you got to eat. Like if I know I'm gonna tie one on, Raiders Chiefs that game day, that's a pizza day. That's a pizza day.
That's a pizza day?
I'll be honest though, Oilers Canucks, that's not a pizza day for me. No, I will watch though. Game 7 tonight, I will watch.
Cheese pizza.
Yeah, it just can't be cheese on it, just not plain cheese.
But like,
I brought this up actually. I had breakfast yesterday, brunch with my cousin. She was in town, and her older brother, also my cousin, he used to get pizza, order cheese pizza, and then he would take off the cheese.
so just a tomato pie.
Yep.
Places do that.
Oh, that. It honestly upsets me, man. Bro, cheese is how you judge if a pizza is good. Fine. It's never going to be the pizza I order, though. Never going to be the pizza I order. I can't get into this again.
I had a 5-cheese pizza the other night. It was so good. In your face.
I think 5 cheese is different than 1 cheese. It is. It is. It is. Like, if you told me I could get...
What about a 2 cheese?
Depends.
Like if I got a cheese pizza and I put some Parmesan on top.
Just like grated Parmesan?
Yeah, 2 cheeses.
I would want more, though. Yeah, maybe get like some ricotta, a little mozzarella, and then a little Parmesan.
So just add ricotta.
No, that's not what I said. It just can't be 1 cheese. If it's 1 cheese on a pizza, no.
What if it's a really good mozzarella?
But my thought process would be then, if it's a really good mozzarella pizza, wouldn't it just be better with like pepperoni?
Petey gets deep dish pizza and he gets the cheese. Just the cheese deep dish.
But see, I think deep dish is different.
Oh.
It is. Deep dish pizza is 100% different than regular pizza.
Do you need an extra wheelbarrow to move those goalposts back and forth for you, Mitch?
It's a totally different pizza.
But you just said I would never just order a cheese pizza.
I wouldn't just order a cheese pizza.
You would order just a plain cheese.
Deep dish plain cheese or a regular pizza cheese, this one's way more okay than this one. Deep dish is different. It's a meal. Like, that's where I'm like, if I just eat a plain cheese pizza, I'm like,
normal cheese pizza is fine, but if I put it in a pie dish and just added 17 times the amount of cheese, I'm okay with that. But
I need more.
But is it okay that the deep dish only has one kind of cheese, Mitch?
What else is in the deep dish, though?
I'm pretty sure it's literally just cheese and sauce and the crust.
I would need to see it. I'm a big visual person. I would need to see it. All right, so we got some more people here in for our race. Gavar was the last name that I got. I got frickin' Jimenez. You're in. What's up, Jason? Gutierrez is in again.
So it looks just
Scott
like this.
Eckert is going to be in twice.
Michelle.
Does look good. I mean, that looks good to me. But see, that looks like substance. Where I feel like it's just plain cheese. Nah, I can't do it. Scott Eckert in. I got Patrick B. And then I'm going to put B of Patrick in.
So you're telling me this?
Anthony Green in.
No.
Jason Martinez. That's too boring. Yep, nope. And then Ray called. You are in. So as it stands right now, final call. $10 Venmo in for a chance to win $160 here on the Raiders Report. A reminder, we are going to be live tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific. Raiders, Panthers, Week 3 Madden Sim. Chug said, going to be crazier.
Might be.
You think? He said it's crazier. I find that hard to believe, man. I don't know. Frank Perez, 22 seconds for a beer boot. Some people would say that's good. Chugs would say that's a bad day. Robert, you're in. Just got one more here from Robert. And then if anybody wants me to answer any questions, again, hashtag Raiders, or you can super chat in order to do so.
Nico says, if you're going to eat a deep dish, just get a lasagna. Way better, and deep dish is overrated.
I don't disagree with that either. If you told me would I rather have a deep dish pizza or lasagna, I will take a lasagna. Dude, lasagna right now sounds gas.
When's the last time you had lasagna?
I actually don't know.
Get it tonight for dinner.
No, I can't. I'm trying to eat healthy today, tomorrow, and Wednesday because I know Richie, when he gets into town, there's gonna be a lot of food, a lot of food, a lot of drinking, a lot of eating shitty Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I already know it. So I got to eat clean. I got to eat clean these next 3 days. Stanley Holmes, I think it's the last person that I just saw get in. Stanley Holmes. He sent in a Stanley nickel. A nice 10-piece. Also, I see Nico Laz Chugs, if you could add him. And then I see Tammy Backus, hope I pronounced that right. Winner now gets what, 180? Winner now gets $180. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good race. All right, I got all the names in. Shout out to everybody that decided to get in our duck race. Shout out to everybody that tuned in live to our Raiders Report show. After this duck race, I'll answer a few more questions here that I see end up coming in. Or I guess crab race. And then Chugs and I will get on out of here. So 3, 2, 1, run it. And the crabs just keep running, and there's so many eyeballs I can't even see the names. It's making me like glitch out a little bit. Not gonna lie. Philip B. I think Guevara is in the lead. Is Guevara in the teal?
I see Luis A. I see Navman. I see Tammy. I see Can't Walk. Anthony Marigil.
Jason Martinez there in the back. Marigil's got a few in this. There's PG 2869.
They're all right there.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, I see Yoda's name, Randall Carter, Norman Hernandez. There's 93. Steven Montanez has got an interesting spot in this. B of Patrick starting to fall back. Robert starting to fall back here.
Raspberry.
I think Anthony Green is right there.
Ron Raspberry in the lead.
Raspberry looking like a raspberry. Is Ron going to win? 4 seconds to go.
Oh, no.
No.
Steven Montanez.
It's Montanez. I love that one, everybody gets upset. Steven, who gets the butthole pick? Steven Montanez, which, by the way,
Scott's
the real winner here. Scott's the real winner here.
Ron, look at Ron's face. That is Coop after Panda if I've ever seen it.
Yeah. I mean, Montanez right now is just teabagging Norman Hernandez. Poor Norman. This is brutal for Norman. All right, so winner got, what was it? 180? Congrats. Hey, Steven, if you could do me a solid here, if you could please confirm with me that you just received 180 doll hairs, that would be great.
I would say yes because he just messaged, let's go.
And he got it confirmed. Nice. Congrats to Steven Montanez, man. All right, y'all, the next time that you're going to see Jeremy Chugs and I here on the show is going to be tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Raiders, Panthers, little Madden sim. If any other updates happen around the silver and black, I'll try to do my best to make another video today. Reminder, huge game tonight. Oilers and Canucks, Game 7.
Oilers, Canucks.
Who you got?
A rivalry as good as time. I got to go with the Oilers and my favorite player, Connor McDavid, from that team. I would say that would be mine. What other player are you going to be looking at besides him?
See, there's a lot of players I could go with. My mentality, if you're going to go with the Oilers, I'm just going to be a part of the not Canucking around club. So give me the Canucks.
Okay.
Give me the Canucks for that reason. Jim Otto, RIP Nation. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's go Canucks.